Hello everybody, and welcome back to Mirrors. Last time, David had a very eventful day in France, touring castles and getting accosted by strange old men and getting new pills from Susanna that seem to have given him a big burst of energy. We'll see how that goes as we continue on in this pop band surreal horror simulator. The following morning, David started writing lyrics as if he was a different man. He had never felt so full of energy before. That night, they performed at their final concert in France. The crowd was cheering on them even before they started playing the intro to their first song. Once again, Clark and Vince were tailing Susanna, probably unsuccessfully.
Doesn't this make your heart pound, Chief? This is going to be a great night.
I'm not going to comment on your tastes in music, Vince, but keep your eyes on the stage area. Let me know if anyone approaches Susanna.
I looked at that man from yesterday. He's just the president of a trading company. Their next destination is Italy. I say we can take it easy, Chief.
As for our President Flannel, I've had the London Association of Detectives look into him. Soon we'll know whether he's innocent or guilty.
Man, David's on fire tonight. Don't you feel like bursting into flames yourself?
The crowd was starting to get carried away by David's increasing enthusiasm. It's shit music, but I can see why young people would like it. I think they're getting a little too crazy, though. Though he said that, Clark was moving his body to the rhythm. As the song progressed, the crowd went into a frenzy. Basking in their energy, David became even more excited. There was a bit of a panic when various people passed out, but in the end, nobody was hurt, and the concert ended without issue. The crowd was still screaming in excitement, even after the band returned to their waiting room. Man, you were amazing tonight, David. I can't stop shaking.
What got into you? I almost lost my mind out there.
Me too. At one point, I think I was playing in a trance or something. Whoops. I did that same exact thing while I was practicing this earlier.
I know, right? I could have kept playing until morning. I was so out of it that I don't even remember being on stage. If David keeps singing like this, we might get knighted by the Queen herself.
Seriously, man, what happened? I don't know what to say. Once I got on stage, I felt so full of energy. Like I made a pact with the devil. Susanna joined them. Her face was flushed, as if she hadn't calmed down from the excitement yet.
David, you were great tonight, but we've got trouble. The audience won't leave the venue. We're having security bring a car as soon as they can. Don't go outside just yet.
It was late night when the band finally returned to the hotel. David went to bed, still excited from the concert. He fell asleep as soon as he closed his eyes. He woke up the next morning. It had been a long time since he last felt so refreshed. David smiled. The band took a plane to Rome, Italy, the location of their next concert. It was night when they arrived. They went straight to the hotel. They went to bed early, starting to feel the fatigue from their previous performance. Once again, David had no nightmares that night. He greeted his friends in the morning, feeling good. It was past noon when the band gathered in the lobby.
The concert is tomorrow night. What do we do today?
They told me we can't visit Rome until after the concert because of all the fans in the area. We can't even walk around the hotel, even though we're in the lobby. Don't worry about that.
David rocked the music world with his last performance. Susanna had to hire extra bodyguards to keep our fans from gathering in front of the hotel. We'll just have to stay inside for the time being.
Oops. Thought I hit enter there. This is bullshit. Susanna's being a worrywart. We're young. We don't need to rest this much.
Then why don't we rent a studio and practice the new song? I like to announce it at our last concert in London.
Oh, I like that. Ending our tour with a new song. If David sings it with that energy, we'd be topping all the charts. Yeah, staying cooped up in the hotel would drive us crazy. Let's rent a studio and make some noise. Like a pop band is famous for doing. Susanna agreed with their plan and made arrangements with their promoter to rent a studio. For the band, there was nothing better than being inside a recording studio late at night. They all started practicing, Martin first and foremost, but... David, what's the matter with you? Vocals and instruments are all over the place.
What's wrong? Your voice is slurred. It's like your head is somewhere else.
David's been working hard since that performance. Maybe he's getting tired.
David, I think you should go back and get some rest. If you keep pushing yourself like this, you'll be a mess during the actual concert.
Now that you mention it, he's looking a bit pale. We'll keep practicing a little more. Why don't you head back to the hotel and get some rest?
David was starting to feel tired after entering the studio, but after seeing his friends so full of energy, he decided to keep his condition to himself. I guess I am tired. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to leave first. Don't worry about me, you keep working on the song. David left the studio and took a cab back to the hotel. After leaving the studio, all that tension vanished, leaving him extremely tired. So much so that he could barely hear the voice of the driver talking to him.
Sir, we're here.
David stepped out of the cab, which then disappeared into the night. The lights in front of the hotel were still on, but there were no crazed fans in sight. David sighed in relief and walked through the door. He rubbed his eyes. It was dark inside, and there were no signs of people. Ugh! That wasn't the hotel. Though it was a stone building, a solid stone building even, there's a word there, it was crumbling apart, as if it had been bombed. For reasons unknown even to himself, David began to walk. As he reached what appeared to be the entrance, he realized that it was some kind of ancient building, made of stone and bricks. Where am I? There's nothing else I can do but go inside. Inside, there were stone pillars, lined up like in a temple. However, the ceiling and many of the pillars had been destroyed. The night sky was visible. How did I get here? This was supposed to be the hotel. There seems to be a way further in. I guess I'll have to follow it. There was a room in the back of the temple, but it was in ruins. Nobody was inside. This place is ancient. Maybe I'm so tired that instead of the hotel I went inside some historical ruins or something. I can see the sky ahead. A little further and I should be out. The building was in shambles, as if it had been hit by an earthquake. With many paths blocked by rubble, he was unable to simply walk forward. I see a clear path ahead. Just a little further. I'm almost there. He could see what appeared to be a courtyard, or maybe the entrance of the building. I thought I was finally out, but it looks like I'm still inside the building. What ruins are these, anyway? I have no idea what I'm doing. As he stepped through the entrance, he found himself in an ancient building, made of stone and bricks. What the... I've been here already! But there's no way I've been going in circles! Oh no, he's doing the chunter maneuver. This isn't good. I'll just go inside and remove all doubts. He entered a temple with ruined stone pillars. See, it's the temple from earlier. I must be in one of my nightmares. I can see outside the building from there. I'll just climb over the wall, that'll do the trick. The night sky was visible beyond the destroyed room. Yeah, just like I thought. Forget the path, I'm climbing over the wall this time. Just as he was about to climb over, David heard a human voice from the path he ignored. David stopped climbing the wall and ran through the path, trying to reach the source of the voice. The path was full of stones and bricks from nearby fallen buildings. He could hear a man groaning from the building in front of him. Whoever he is, he's hurt. I need to help him. By reflex, David ran towards the source of the voice. An old man came out from a crack in the wall. There was blood flowing out of his chest. "Please, don't kill me." The old man stared at David, full of fear. "You're hurt! Don't move, I'll go find help." "So you're not one of them. Please, stay here. They'll finish me off if you leave me alone." "But if I stay here, you'll... What should I do?" "I'm already doomed. I have one final request. I want you to deliver this to the man they call the Devil King of Darkness." The old man held out a piece of cloth akin to a handkerchief with his blood-stained hands. The Devil King of Darkness. David retracted his hand before he could take the cloth. "What are you talking about? Who is this Devil King? I don't understand." "Those people killed my master. With his last breath, he told me to deliver this cloth." "Deliver this to the followers of the Devil King. Tell them that unless they kill the person bearing the crest drawn on this cloth, our Dark Lord will never return." "My master died shortly after. That's when they started coming after me. I beg of you, carry on the duty my master has given me." While David was still weighing his options, he felt the presence of people around him.
It's them. They've come for me. Take this cloth and go. Hurry!
The old man put the cloth in David's hand. From the shadows, about 10 figures attacked them both. As the old man screamed, a hatchet-like weapon was swung towards David's shoulder. David felt an intense shoulder pain. Are you okay, sir? Please, bear with it. We're almost at the hotel. David realized he had never left the cab. He must have fallen asleep at one point. He felt a chill run down his spine, thinking back to his nightmare. When the taxi arrived at the hotel, he found Susanna waiting for him at the entrance. As David was about to get out, the driver told him, "Sir, you forgot something." There was a piece of cloth on his seat. The driver handed it over to David and drove off. When he looked at the handkerchief, David felt a chill run down his spine once again. That was the cloth with the crest, the same one the old man gave him in his dream. David tried to convince himself that it must have belonged to another customer. Not wanting Susanna to notice it, he put it in his pocket.
I heard from Martin on the phone. David, are you okay? You're not looking very good.
I know. I was doing so great, and then all of a sudden I'm feeling very tired. Though he spoke with a steady tone, it was obvious he could barely stand.
Come on, lean on my shoulder. I'll help you.
David put his arm on Susanna's shoulder, and they both entered the hotel. David welcomed the feeling of Susanna's warmth, from the elevator all the way to his bed. As her warmth left him, weird way to put that, David thought back to the cloth with the crest. He was sure he would have another nightmare if he were to fall asleep.
I'll stay here until you fall asleep. Just relax and have a good night.
Susanna, I feel like I'm going to have another nightmare. Don't you have any more of those pills?
Of course I do. I always bring them with me since they're so important for you. Here you go.
David took the pills Susanna gave him. Thank you. The store would have been a disaster without you. I owe you another one.
I'd do anything for you, David. Call me if you feel like you're going to have another nightmare. I'll be your knight and vanquish all your enemies.
I'll do that. Though, usually the man is the knight saving the damsel in distress. Guess it's the opposite with us. David, don't be cringe.
It's time you lie down. The pills should kick in soon. Oh, I should put on the Do Not Disturb hanger on the door. Once the guys are back, we'll come see how you're doing.
Thank you, Susanna. I think the pills are kicking in. Good night. David felt his body burning hot. The pills were probably starting to have their effect. Susanna turned the lights off and was going to leave the room when David seemed to have fallen asleep.
David, what's wrong?
David was tossing and turning. Susanna threw herself onto David, desperately attempting to hold him down with her body. Suddenly, David lost all his strength. Susanna wiped the sweat from David's brow.
Are you okay now?
I am. It must be one of the side effects of the pills, like the other time. David gasped. He realized that Susanna, her face, her soft body, again, weird way to put that, was on top of him. Susanna, please don't leave me alone. Stay with me. Without you, I'll... David held Susanna tight, and they exchanged a kiss. At that time, Clark and Vince were staking out the hotel.
Isn't it about time we called it a night, Chief?
Yeah, I guess. I don't think Susanna's gonna leave the hotel while David's not feeling well.
Is David gonna be okay? He's got a concert tomorrow.
I don't know. They went and rented a studio to practice and all, but he came back on his own. Must have been damn tired.
You gotta be tough to be in this line of work, whether it's detective work or being in a band.
Clark and Vince got into their car and drove away from the hotel. Stomach, shut up, I just ate. David had never felt so good in the morning before. Susanna wasn't there, but her scent still lingered on the bed. But after taking a shower, David looked in the mirror and his mood soured instantly. He had another bruise on his shoulder. It was as if the events of his nightmares also occurred in the real world. You're just picking up on this now, my dude? David shook his head, as if to chase away the thought, and left the bathroom. The late wake-up call was ringing. Hey, good morning, Susanna. I slept great last night. I'm feeling better than ever.
I'm glad to hear that. Today you'll have your first performance in Italy. Good luck, David.
I gotta remind myself to not talk so fast when I'm reading these lines. Harder than you might think. Thank you, Susanna. Because I naturally read pretty fast. After hearing Susanna's voice, David forgot all about his nightmares. Because, as I was saying, I naturally read pretty fast, so I gotta intentionally slow down my reading speed a little bit to make the lines more comprehensible. Hidden tech! Once the sun had set, their first concert in Rome began. David, let's make it happen again tonight.
Come on, let's go!
David, take us by the storm! As David walked under the spotlight, he was greeted by the cheers of his fans. The moment the song's intro started playing, the crowd screamed so loudly that the stage itself seemed to tremble. Let's get the game volume up slightly. The crowd's excitement would only increase as the band kept playing, to the point where it had become next to impossible to keep them in check. While David screamed his song, some among the audience were scratching their faces into a bloody mess. At first it was only one, but this behavior was seemingly spreading. The sound of the ambulance's sirens only added to the song's power, as paramedics with their stretchers came and went uninterruptedly. A police officer spoke to Susanna.
Can you please interrupt the concert? At this rate, it won't be long before we start having casualties.
Look at them, officer. They're not even listening to the music anymore. It's the song itself that fuels them.
Work with me here, okay? I'd rather not have to fire my gun.
I'll see what I can do.
Susanna herself was worried about the crowd going berserk. Lost in thought, she gazed upon David, who was standing at the very edge of the stage. During the song's interlude, David approached Susanna.
I'm doing great, Susanna! You're on fire tonight, David! Sing the next song for me. Make it something sweet and kind.
Okay, let the others know. Once the song's over, have them turn down the lights. David returned to the stage. The song ended, and the lights went down. The crowd was getting more and more agitated as their surroundings grew darker. A slow and calm intro started playing. The audience didn't calm down, however, as if they weren't actually listening. When David started singing, everything changed. The crowd stopped screaming and moving. They religiously listened to his voice. Clark and Vince were once again attending the concert. Why are they changing the song? I like the other one better. Because they're not complete morons. Had they kept going with the same energy, someone would have died tonight. Yeah, what's the big deal? People die every day. Vincent, Jesus, don't be so crass. Yeah, this one's good. I'm actually enjoying this one. Who knew David could sing like this? Did I call him Vincent instead of Vince? Before long, the venue fell silent. Men and women were kissing while David sang, not necessarily each other, though. The song ended, and the lights were dimmed even further. Encore! 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 The lights on the stage were turned on once again, all at once. The beat of the synths filled the venue once more. The audience cheered as the performance changed from calm to energetic once more. Their frenzy began anew, but never with the same intensity as earlier. There was no longer a risk of casualties. Overall, the concert in Rome was a success.